Shalom. Special thanks goes out to Laszlo for asking this question. Laszlo said he was a little confused about what happens after David. And so I want to take a look at that. But first, I want you to consider this. A little bit of a design challenge for you. If you were going to create a family tree using these rules of genealogy, the number of words in your family tree must be divisible by 7 evenly. The number of letters must also be divisible by 7 evenly. The number of vowels and the number of consonants must be divisible by 7. The number of words that occur more than once must be divisible by 7. The number of words that occur in more than one form must be divisible by 7. The number of words that occur in only one form must be divisible by 7. The number of nouns must be divisible by 7. Only 7 words shall not be nouns. The number of names must be divisible by 7. Only 7 other kinds of nouns are permitted. The number of male names must be divisible by 7, and the number of generations must be divisible by 7. If you want to match up all of what is true of the genealogy of Yahshua, HaMashiach, as found in Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 through 11. And you know, this is in Greek, not English, which would be much easier to manipulate. You have one chance in 40 million to be able to do this. Using a supercomputer, it would take 4,300,000 years. And this is just one minuscule example of the heptadic structures, 7s, that are found throughout the Bible. Looking at Matthew, chapter 1 gives a record of the genealogy of Yahshua, the son of David, the son of Abraham. It begins with Abraham and runs on. Now, in verse 5, we see Salmon, the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab, Boaz, the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth, Obed, the father of Jesse, and Jesse, the father of King David. If you take a look at Genesis, well, there's no sense in taking a look, but if you went to Genesis chapter 38, in the original Hebrew text, in 49 letter intervals, 49 being 7 squared, heptadic structure, and all in chronological order are these names. So in other words, you go to the original Hebrew in Genesis chapter 38, and you take the first letter, and then you go 49 letters over, right to left, of course. And you wind up, and you write those letters down, and when you put them together, you see Boaz, Ruth, Obed, Jesse, and David, encoded in the original Hebrew, which we see here mentioned in verses 5 and 6 of Matthew chapter 1. Luke chapter 3, verse 31 and 32, we see the same thing. But back to Matthew. Right at verse 6, B, it says David was the father of Solomon. When you look at Luke, Luke switches at this point with David. From David, Luke switches to Nathan and on to Mary. But here in Matthew, we see David was the father of Solomon, whose mother had been Uriah's wife, Bathsheba. Solomon, the father of Rehoboam, and so on and so forth. Now, when you get to verse 8, Asa, the father of Jehoshaphat, the father of Jehoram, the father of Uzziah. There are three names missing here, and that would be Ahaziah, Joash, and Amaziah. These were all slain, and they were all idolaters, and therefore blotted out. And we can see that in Deuteronomy, Devarim. That would be Deuteronomy chapter 29, and really verse 20, but we'll go a little earlier. You look at verse 18, it says, "Lest there should be among you a man or woman, or clan or tribe, whose heart turns away today from Yahweh our Elohim, to go and serve the mighty ones of the nations, lest there should be among you a root bearing bitterness or wormwood. And it shall be," verse 19, "when he hears the words of this curse, that he should baruk himself in his heart, bless himself in his heart, saying, I have peace, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, in order to add drunkenness to thirst." Verse 20, "Yahweh would not forgive him, but rather the displeasure of Yahweh and his jealousy shall burn against that man, and every curse that is written in this book shall settle on him, and Yahweh shall blot out his name from under the Shamayim." Blot out his name from under the heavens. So when you're looking at Matthew chapter 1, verse 8, there are three names missing there. Ahaziah, if I'm pronouncing it right, Joash, and Amaziah. These were all slain. They were all idolaters, and so they were blotted out. And then it continues, verse 12, after the exile to Babylon, Jeconiah, also known as Jehoiachin, there's a curse on Jehoiachin, and we see that one in Jeremiah chapter 22 and verse 30. Which reads, "Thus said Yahweh, write this man down as childless, a strong man who is not to prosper in his days, for none of his descendants shall prosper, sitting on the throne of David, or rule any more in Yehuda, Judah." So there, that verse right there is the blood curse on the line of David, and Satan believed that this was in his favor. But this blood curse on the Messianic line is taken care of by the Virgin Mary. It's revealed in Genesis 3:15 by the seed of the woman. So from that point on in Matthew, Matthew goes to the legal father of the Messiah, Joseph. So now we go over to Luke chapter 3, and here we see the bloodline outlined beginning with verse 23 in chapter 3. Yeshua himself was about 30 years old when he began his ministry. He was the son, so it was thought, of Joseph, the son of Heli, that's Mary's father. And that right there eliminates the blood curse of Joseph's bloodline. And we run all the way down to verse 31, the son of Meleah, son of Menah, the son of Mattatha, the son of Nathan, that's Solomon's older brother. And Mary's bloodline works because of the law Yahweh set with Zelophehad, who had 5 daughters, no sons. If there are no sons, an exception is made. And for that, we take a look at Numbers, Bimidbar, chapter 27, verses 3 through 9. It says, our father died in the wilderness, yet he was not in the company of those who were met together against Yahweh in the company of Horvath, but he died in his own sin. He had no sons. Why should the name of our father be removed from among his clan because he had no son? Give us a possession among the brothers of our father. Moshe then brought their case before Yahweh. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, the daughters of Zelophehad speak what is right. You should certainly give them a possession of inheritance among their father's brothers, and cause the inheritance of their father to pass to them. And speak to the children of Israel, saying, when a man dies and has no son, then you shall cause his inheritance to pass on to his daughter. And if he has no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. So this is why Mary's bloodline works, because of this law. Numbers 27, verses 3 through 9. And of course, Luke takes the bloodline all the way from Adam on up to Mary. Yeshua is the new Adam, and Yeshua succeeds against Satan's attempts where Adam failed. So I hope that answers your questions about how it proceeds from David on. Thanks for your question. Shalom Aleichem.